Hello everyone, welcome to City Talks episode 3, and today we have Faiza, who's the right brain of changing tree. Welcome to City Talks, Faiza.
Thank you for having me.
So Faiza has been the oldest employee of Changing Tree, and it's been 8 years, Faiza. So tell us something about the journey, tell us something about the role, and from where the inception to here.
Well, it's been amazing to have been in CT for 8 years. I've seen, being in a room, just one room with 2 chairs, and now seeing a big team of 100. It's amazing. The growth is amazing. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun being in this company.
So Faiza, tell us something about your role.
So I am Client Services Director, and I lead a team called ACE, and we work with some of the top e-commerce brands in India, which I'm really proud of.
So Faiza, how does a client onboarding happen?
So we first identify a team, which is your junior designers, senior designers, art directors, copywriters, and of course client servicing. We then meet the client and understand and take their download. We understand their creative guidelines, we understand their vision, their mission, we understand what they really want to express through our creatives. We then do the best part, which is brainstorming, in which we put a structure to the team, put processes, we put deadlines, feedback. How do we handle all these things? We do all of this when we get a client. So
Faiza, you handle ACE team, right? So how do you solve the feedbacks? How do you come up with the revisions and the timelines and everything?
So timelines is something we are really proud of because we are known as the TAT team.
Yeah.
We set internal timelines so we do not miss any deadlines. So that's something we are covered. We never had really problems in delivering anything of the time that has been given to us. When it's coming to feedback, I think what as client servicing and what we need to understand is that we need to understand what the client really needs.
Correct.
Sometimes you have to be in their shoe to understand what is their vision and in what they want in their creatives, right? So once we know that, feedbacks become very easy.
Correct.
It's just that they have a vision to what their creatives should look like, and if we know that, it's easier to deliver.
So Faiza, despite the revisions and feedback, how do you keep a strong relationship with the clients?
It's a secret that I can't tell you guys, but I'll tell you something. Always be on the client side. That's what it is. As a client servicing person, you should always understand what your client really wants. We sometimes take feedbacks as a thing like, oh shit, why is this client giving us feedback? But what you don't understand is that a feedback is very important for the client because they are looking at this creative as a business. They want to reach the audience in a manner that they feel the brand is expressing, right? So always be on the client side and understand what they really want to say. And once you build that trust with your client that I'm on your side, I'm always there for you, and I am equally in love with your brand as you are, then it becomes very easy for the client to love you back, to actually put trust in you. It's easier for them to always just give you a call, and even if it's not related to work, they will just give you a call, say, I'm going through this problem, what do you think is the solution? That is a relationship you build with the client, and once you've built that, it's easy peasy. You don't have to
being
worry.
flexible is what they require.
Yeah, you'll have to be more than just a service in person. You'll have to be more of you have to build a relationship with the client, because at the end of the day, we're just humans trying to build a brand.
Correct.
And we love the brand. Both of us love the brand so much. That's why we are working with this client, right? So that's it. I think you need to understand what the client is. While you give your mind to your client, your heart needs to be with your team.
Team too, yeah.
Because you need to balance that out. So yeah, that's one tip.
So Faiza, being on the side with the client, how do you keep your team motivated too? So it's like...
It's an art.
It is.
You have to be more than just, being in client servicing is doing multiple tasks. It's like saying which kid do you love more? It's like your elder child or the younger child. You really don't have an answer for that. It's similar to that. You really love both the sides.
Correct.
When it comes to keeping my team happy, you'd never let them taste the pressure that it's coming from the client. right? You as client servicing is a barrier from what you receive from the client to what you deliver to your team. So you always have a, I know some days are bad, some days are good, but you always give them what they can handle. You don't really give them everything that you receive from the client. You're happy with them. You take them out on lunch. You keep the mood quite light. And me being me, I crack jokes and I make sure everybody is eating good food. So that's how I think I keep my team happy. Pizza is on me.
What are the steps to track the project process?
Apart from money? Well, I think from a client's perspective, to see them grow and to have a good feedback from the client that we are doing great in their business, because ultimately the idea is to make more money and to build a brand that is on top of everybody's tongue. So if that's happening, that's great. And I think from a team's perspective, a team lead's perspective, is to see your employees, your teammates enjoy the work that they're doing and growing in that. And I think that's the only way to see the success of your team. If they're happy and they love the job. Monday blues become Monday pinks.
How do you keep updating with the industry trends?
We mostly work on e-com brands. So we have sessions with Google and Facebook to understand what creatives are getting clicks, how are they performing, are we targeting the audience, and are the creatives and audience matching. So there's a lot of workshops that happen with Google and Facebook. But apart from this, since we work with e-commerce brands, we work with smaller spaces and the creativity is needed in these smaller spaces. So that's a challenge for us to crack in. So most of the time it's basically research, trial and error. Because you need to understand what best suits these small spaces. It's not something that is given to us, or it's in the industry very commonly. So this is something that we'll have to keep trying, and for that reason we have a lot of competitions internally for people, to giving them small spaces and asking them to give us something more creative using the new trends that are there and in that creative space. And we see what's working best for us. So we have our fun poster making days and we have competitions.
Workshops, so many things.
So mostly that's how we are doing it.
What are the challenges you have faced in your journey, Faiza?
Well, some days are good, some days are bad. I would describe a bad day as when you have a disagreement with your client on any creative, and you are at this really rage and urge of telling them that I am very strongly convinced that this creative is amazing. But I think as client servicing, you shouldn't do that. You should take a step back, understand where she or he is coming from, what is their perspective about the work that you've delivered. Once you give yourself and the client a little space, you understand and you calm yourself down before you approach this disagreement. When you do that, I think it's a better approach, and you will be able to resolve the disagreement in a better manner. And when it comes to having conflicts within your internal teams, I think it's easier there also to when, like for example, you have disagreement with your design approach between two designers, or your copy ideations. In that case, you give everyone space. The answer for everything is space. Give space to everyone. So when you do give space, right, everybody understands. You have second thoughts. You understand what somebody is trying to tell you. And when you relax yourself and then you approach to things, it comes up better, and you are doing much better.
What are the skills required to be an effective account manager?
Firstly, it's communication, because communication is the key. It solves 80% of your job. As a client account manager, once you have communicated with your client that what's happening, where are we, when are we going to deliver, you've done half the job. You've completely won the client by letting them know that you're up the game even before they have to follow up with you. Right?
And you should
so
be
that's
a
the
good
key.
listener too.
You have to be a great listener, and that's the key. Even when you work with your internal team, you communicate the best from what the client's expectations are. You let them know that this is what it is, this is what the timelines are. Communication is the key for solving 80% of your problems. The second thing is patience. That's really important as you're dealing with different kinds of human, you're dealing with different generations and personalities. Everyone is going to be different in nature of communication, different levels of creativity. So to deal with them, you need to be very patient. You need to take a step back and understand where everybody is coming from. And the third thing is problem solving, because like I said, you are the wall between two different groups, right? So you need to have the skills of problem solving. You need to make sure you know what you're doing. So that, and the fourth thing is, I think you just need to love your work. If you enjoy what you're doing, you enjoy your role, you will be great.
Yeah.
And you just need to chill.
Thank you, Faiza, for being on CD Talks. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
With that,